So I'm going to deviate a little bit tonight from what we normally do. On this date in 2001, a series of 4 coordinated terrorist attacks were conducted by the Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda against the United States on the morning of Tuesday, September 11, 2001. The attacks killed 2,996 of our residents, injured over 6,000 others, and caused at least $10 billion in infrastructure and property damage. This time I'd like to observe a moment of silence in honor of 911, that we don't forget. If you would all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Antoinette, can we get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. Adriano?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. At this time, I would like to invite Stephanie Harrison up to address the board.
Hello, thank you for having me. I know the library board has a couple of dedicated board members who come every month and talk about things that are happening at the library, but September is a special month. It's National Library Card Sign-Up Month, so I always like to take the opportunity to come out and sort of tell everyone why I think getting a library card is a great thing. You know, we have great materials, services, and programs that you can access anytime, but September especially, every time you use your library card, we're doing a raffle. So you use your library card, you get a raffle ticket, and you can win a great prize. So if you have a library card, I hope you come use it. If you've lost your library card, September is a good month to get a new one because we offer free replacement cards. Usually they're $3. In addition to all the things you can check out with your library card, we have a lot of great programs this month. I know George and Karen often tell you what's going on in the upcoming month, so I thought I'd share that with you as well. For September, we have a 2-part retirement series that we're hosting. We have Stories of the Titanic. That's led by someone from the Statsburg State Historic Site. We have Savvy shopping tips for the holiday season. That's at the end of September. We're starting a teen leadership council for any teens that you know of who need community service hours. They can come to the library and do some volunteering. They can plan programs for their peers. All of our children's programs start next week. Those are our usual really fun things for babies through elementary school kids. We did a school supply drive. We do that every year. We're finishing that up this month. We do that with the Patterson Community Church. And then on Saturday, we're starting a pet supply drive, and that'll be through the month of September and October, and that'll culminate with the Pet Adoption Day in the middle of October. It's on a Saturday. You can come and maybe adopt a pet through it's through Paw Safe. So there's lots of things to do and see and check out at the library. So I hope you come in and use your library card, and you can check out items. You can check out our programs, and maybe just come say hi to us. The staff always love to see you in there. So that's about it for Library Card Sign-Up Month. And I want to thank you all for coming. Those of you who came to our patio expansion, ribbon cutting, and we really appreciated seeing you all there and helping us celebrate that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to deviate also one more time from the agenda, just to make an announcement, inform everybody that this week, Receiver of Taxes Mary Delanoy and myself were informed that there was a problem with the tax bills. When the county printed the tax bills, unfortunately, there was an error in their printing, and they were printed incorrectly. We participated in a conference call with all the other receivers as well as the supervisors on Monday, where the county informed us on how they intended to move forward with this problem and try to rectify the error. They have asked that the receivers at this time stop taking payment of taxes. They are currently preparing and printing new corrected tax bills that will be going out in all likelihood the middle of next week. The tax bills will be marked corrected tax bills, and they will be yellow in color so that you can distinguish them from the current tax bills, which are incorrect. The issue was that when the veterans exemption was calculated on the tax bills, it was calculated at an incorrect rate. So the veterans unfortunately did not pay what they are required to pay. And it also shifted the tax payments to all the other residents in the town and in the county, so that everybody paid a little bit too much. Don't get excited. I'm sure it's only nickels on your tax bill. But I do feel bad for the veterans who have received tax bills showing that they, did not have to pay their taxes, what their taxes were. In addition to there being the issue with the tax bill, the county has changed the times in which payments need to be made. At this time, the county has directed us that partial payments will be made not later than October 7th, and that full payments will be made not later than October 21st. Payments will be made by October 21st without interest. So everybody gets a little bit of a reprieve in paying their taxes. Please, I beg you, do not pay your taxes at the last minute. We will lose our receiver of taxes.
I didn't hear that last phrase. Do not pay your taxes?
Do not pay your taxes at the last minute.
Okay.
Mary, did I miss anything? Do I need to add anything? Thank you. Okay. Reports. Can I get a motion on the reports?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the code compliance report for August, code enforcement report for August, and the dog control officer report for August. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion on the minutes?
Yeah. I will make a motion that the town board approve the following minutes: the public hearing on the Victory Cup, August 28th, town board meeting minutes of August 14th, and the town board meeting minutes of August 28th. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 16 dated August 30th, 2019 in the amount of $148,373.90. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Charles, you're up with the Little Feet Library.
Right. Last meeting, we had a presentation by Lorraine Major from the Patterson Rotary on the concept of installing 2 little library buildings, or I guess you call them that, right?
Structures.
Sheds, and one down by the Recreation Department and one over by Club Court in Putnam Lake. So, do you wish to add anything else?
I don't think so.
No?
I think
You're
we
good?
covered
All
it.
right.
Good.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion that the town board approve an agreement, write up an agreement between the town of Patterson and the Patterson Rotary with regard to the installation, the liability factors, et cetera, with reference to the little free libraries in the town of Patterson. So moved.
Second?
And you're going to authorize the
Oh, and they're going to authorize
town
this-
attorney and the town supervisor to review and approve and execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Lorraine, just a second, if the organization that you work with on that has any type of formal agreements, that would be helpful.
I'll check. I thought you had it, but I'll check with them. They might have it.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Next, we have our annual preventive maintenance, repair, and emergency service for the town standby generators in the town buildings. So I will make a motion for the town board to request the town clerk to advertise for bids in the local newspapers for the bids concerning preventive maintenance, repair, and emergency service of standby generators. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next, we have a resolution concerning our assessor department. And as you all know, our current assessor is retiring, and we have appointed a new assessor. This resolution talks about a rearrangement of any additional duties for the assessor clerk. So, and it's a resolution approving a salary increase based on that. So I will make a motion that the resolution be entered into the record as read, and make a motion that it be so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. First on my agenda is a local law which would amend the zoning code to permit within the C1 zoning district self-storage facilities, not your typical self-storage facilities. What this proposed change to the zoning code does is allows for a single building that would be used as self-storage, but all the units would be on the interior of the building, so it maintains the appearance along Route 22. It's been reviewed by our town planning board, who has tweaked it somewhat and sent it back to us with a recommendation that we move forward with approving this change to the zoning code. That being said, I would like to introduce local law I-2 and provide for a public hearing and notice. We have a resolution in front of us. I'd like to enter that resolution into the record as read and move the resolution. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing on this local law will be October 9th, I believe. Yes, October 9th, here at Town Hall. Next, drum roll please. Okay. All right, I'm pleased to present to the town board tonight with the tentative budget for 2020. This budget continues to hold the line on spending and the overall tax increase and impact to our residents. I would like to thank Patricia Brooks, Town Controller, for all her hard work in putting this tentative budget together and putting up with the many revisions that we have worked through on addressing the numbers in the budget. Development of this budget has been particularly challenging and will require further discussion with the whole town board before its adoption. One of the principal issues was coming up in 2020 is not only a leap year, but in our payroll cycle results in there being 27 payrolls rather than the normal 26 payrolls. Even so, the current budget reflects there being 26 payroll periods in 2020 so that a year-to-year comparison can be made by all. Both the town controller and I have been considering options on addressing the year with a 27 payroll period. These options include the adoption of a 26.1 payroll year, accounting for the payroll 27 in 2019, or simply accepting that there are going to be 27 payrolls in 2020. We have requested an opinion from the state controller on which method may be legally permissible, but to date do not have a resolution on the issue. The 2020 tentative budget reflects a significant reduction in our revenues. First, from the cancellation of the shared services agreement with the town of Pauling, but also a greater anticipated loss in revenue for which we have been receiving from the courts. The 2020 tentative budget includes a new server for Town Hall and replacement of all the recreation center computers. These costs are necessitated by Microsoft, as the operating software for their systems will no longer be supported as of January 1st, 2020. We continue with our computer replacement policy for Town Hall, which should serve us into the coming year. The 2020 tentative budget includes funding for 1 new clerical staff that will be shared between the assessor's office and the planning department. And the budget also reestablishes the position of town planner. The 2020 tentative budget proposes a salary increase of 2% for most of our employees. However, I am also presenting to the town board an alternate multi-year salary schedule which proposes salary adjustments over the next 3 years for many of our employees. These salary adjustments are warranted not only in recognition of the hard work and great customer service that our employees provide, but also to stay competitive with the salaries within the region and ensure retention of all our employees. Overall, the salary adjustments which I am proposing increase the budget by an additional 0.3%. This year, the 2020 tentative budget including the salary adjustments, continue to remain within the guidelines established for the tax cap. So our residents will continue to receive a property tax relief check. Once again, I look forward to discussions with the town board on developing a responsible budget for the year 2020. Any questions?
See you at the work sessions.
Looking forward to it.
I just wanted to comment on the 27 paychecks. I know that where I work currently, that we experience that like once every 5 years, and it was, you know, the way they would adjust that would actually hurt us terribly, because we'd go like 3-week gap to get everybody back on the cycle, and now we're doing the 1st and the 15th, and it actually works out perfect. I don't know if that's anything Trish ever looked into.
We've looked into a lot. I can tell you that if we have a 27 payroll period in 2020, everybody will probably get their salaries adjusted so that we can account for the the 27th payroll. That will impact the budget by about $78,000. The exception is all elected officials. You're only still going to get 26 paychecks. So for those of you who are taking this as kind of a, extra or part-time gig, no big deal. For some of us, like the town clerk, they're going to have to go quite a ways before they see a paycheck. And so we're trying to wrestle with how to correctly adjust that. Unfortunately, you're not going to be here. Okay, and my executive session is some legal and personnel issues having to do with the Veterans Park incident, some other issues, and I'll defer that to the end of the agenda. Mary.
Okay. The first item on my agenda is we'd like to recognize the Putnam Lake Fire Department for helping us out with having the EMS service, housing them and taking care of them while we're getting arrangements together for their new home. So I'd like to read this proclamation to everyone. I don't think there's no one here from the fire department, but we'd like to enter this into the record, that in recognition of service to the town of Patterson, whereas the town of Patterson began an EMS service March 20th, 2017 at 7 a.m. as first responder ambulance service in the town of Patterson. And whereas the men and women of the Putnam Lake Fire Department opened their firehouse for our Patterson EMS service to operate from, providing a ready room, a garage bay, and other amenities. And whereas the Putnam Lake Fire Department has provided invaluable assistance and support to the town of Patterson EMS in service, and whereas the Putnam Lake Fire Department's generosity has helped make Patterson EMS an outstanding success. And whereas the Putnam Lake Fire Department serves as a shining example of cooperation and commitment to the service within our community, and whereas the Patterson Town Board wishes to recognize the men and women of the Putnam Lake Fire Department for their outstanding service to our community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Patterson hereby issues this proclamation on September 11th, 2019 to the Putnam Lake Fire Department in recognition of their outstanding service to the Town of Patterson community, and be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Patterson extends our appreciation and gratitude for their assistance in starting Patterson's EMS service and for their years of service and dedication towards making Patterson a better community. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Putnam Lake Fire Department.
Thank you.
Yes. I will be reaching out to the chief and president and talk to them about presenting the proclamation to let you all know.
Thanks.
I'm happy they're closer to home, though, to my home.
A little more centralized.
I wouldn't. All right, let's move on.
Okay, so I have a couple of items, not too many, from Matt Chabarro from the Patterson Rec Center. The Fall Festival's coming up, and Matt has taken some price quotes for some entertainment for that day. He has, he's getting some bouncy houses, pumpkin chunkin', cotton candy wagon, and boom blasters. And the lowest bidder on all of those items for that festival date would be the Just for Fun Entertainment. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of all of these fun things that they're going to have in the amount of $3,966.47. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then Matt has just asked us to go over some things. You want me to hold these all up?
Sure.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let me read it first. Saturday, September 28th, Patterson Recreation will be having a community tag sale. There is still some space available for the vendors, so if you want any information or you need to register, you can do that online at pattersonrec.org. Okay. Matt has also asked us to remind everyone that we still have Cupcake Wars going on for fall 2019. The program dates are September 27th, October 4th, October 11th, October 18th, and October 25th. I don't know if the price is on here. You need to register by September 19th for some Cupcake Wars.
That's good.
Okay? Sure thing. I know we talked about maybe we could get these two before, and maybe you could set them up so we could do them before. That would be nice. Patterson Rec Flag Football, register between September 9th through the 21st. They're having evaluations on the 22nd, $85 for the first child, $75 for a sibling. Please don't forget to register for the flag football. This is a lot of fun. The kids get really excited and into this. My grandchildren play that. Something new, Patterson Rec presents youth gymnastics. They've, in cooperation with B&C Gymnastics on Route 22. This looks really good. And the Golden Age Club is having bingo Thursday, September 19th. There's a little typo here. It's 12:30 a.m. I know that as you get older, you like to get up early, but that's a little too early, I think, right? September 19th. Don't forget to come play bingo. $5. Admission includes bingo and a hot dog. And don't forget the Patterson Rec Preschool. School has started again, and it's for ages 2 through 5, 5-year-olds. And pizza night. I believe that's every Friday, isn't it, or no? September 21st. And then, of course, the Great Fall Festival. We're gonna have that cotton candy. That's Saturday, October 26th. That's a lot of fun. Okay, you can still get a table if you want to set something up at the Fall Festival. There's a lot going on there that day. And that's for Mr. Matt Chabaro. Thank you.
Peter, you're up.
Okay, first item on my agenda is the Mamarella easement. So we have a resolution here. It's an easement between the Mamarella Astro Associates and New York Corporation.
And the town of Patterson.
In the town of Patterson. So I'd like to request the town clerk to, I'm sorry.
You're moving the resolution.
I'd like to move this resolution to authorize the supervisor to execute the easement agreement. So move. Subject to the attorney approving any modifications to the agreement. So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent.
Next, I have an assessor request. So as Charlie said, our assessor is retiring. His contract is up, and he has a request here to that his medical and dental, vision, health insurance benefits continue for personal policy as a retiree beginning October 1st. In addition, he'd like to receive a cash payout for his accrued vacation time and unused sick time. So, is this correct, the resolution?
Yes, the other items are required as our personnel policy, but the resolution goes to the vacation time buyout.
So I'd like to make a motion to enter this resolution to the record as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Next, I have snow bids. So we have a couple here, two here, right?
Yep.
So I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town clerk to start advertising for snow removal for sewer and water districts. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like to make a motion for the town clerk to start advertising for the snow removal for winter sidewalk maintenance in the Patterson Hamlet. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. That is
You
all
two
I have.
start fighting down there.
No.
Okay. Okay, other business. Anyone have any other business?
Yep. We received a letter from the Putnam Lake Fire Department advising us that the following person has been accepted as a member of the Putnam Lake Fire Department: David Brothheim, Patterson, New York. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve Mr. Brothheim as a member of the Putnam Lake Fire Department. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone else have anything else they wish to bring up this time?
Well, we're gonna do this one, right?
No, we don't need to do that. That was an emergency repair.
Okay.
Okay, I do have one thing. I was contacted today by Putnam County. We have been working, trying to get the culvert that crosses Fairfield Drive by the Putnam Lake Dam replaced. It is in very poor condition. We've hit another little snag, which I believe we can correct by their application and receipt of a wetlands watercourse permit from the town of Patterson. So they today dropped off an application for a wetlands watercourse permit. But of course, we don't want them to incur any additional cost because it comes out of somebody's pocket. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion that we waive the fees for the wetlands watercourse permit application submitted by Putnam County for the replacement of the Fairfield Drive culvert. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Is that one thing? I just want to thank the Patterson Fire Department for hosting the 9/11 ceremony tonight. I was honored to represent the town board at the ceremony. Pastor Maxwell gave a very nice prayer, and Deputy Chief Tommy Gamache had a nice few words. So I just want to thank them for doing that every year with their 9/11 memorial there. They have the piece of the towers there as a little memorial, so it was very nice.
I was very disappointed I couldn't make it, but rigors of the office.
And I think it was, at first when I saw the meeting on this night, we were still going to have the meeting. It's a little tough for me since I served down in 9/11, but I think it's important that we do continue our meetings, continue our democracy and our republic process, and not let terrorism get in the way like they wanted us to.
Yes, well said. Public recognition. Any member of the public wish to be heard?
Good evening. Rich Reinhardt, 293 Farm to Market Road. I want to give a big thank you to the Putnam Lake Fire Department and Patterson Fire Departments. They came to our time of need. We had gone to the Elks Club for a nice auto show. We came back to a flooded basement. My wife Joan called at 911. The deputies responded, and both departments responded tremendously, gave us a big help. And they discovered the leak was in the hose to the washing machine, and I immediately ran in the garage and shut off the water source. And the fire department men came in and shut off the breakers to the laundry room and prevented further damage. So they were great. We lived here 47 years. Came with my son Chris, 6 months old. Raised our 3 other children. Been a great town, great people in our town, if not one of the best in New York State. And a big thank you to all the members of the fire departments in Putnam Lake and Patterson. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
I guess so.
Motion to go into executive
Good
session.
evening, Bruce Major, 166 Somerset Drive, Patterson. No, it's not a setup. First of all, I'd like to thank the town board for reinstituting softball at the Cornwall Hill Park. We're glad to see the lights on again after a couple of years. I think that's a positive thing to see that field being used again. I only have one thing to bring up today. I'll give you a copy so you can look at it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
This copy's for Sean. As you know, I have spoken in the past in reference to Comcast and the television production of our town board meetings. For the last 8 weeks, I chose to monitor when they're producing your show. And as you can see, what I've done is I've shaded the weekends to give you an idea of the weekends. You can see the meeting the July 24th meeting. That wasn't shown until August 19th. To give you an idea, your last meeting, which was August 28th, it's not going to show, I guess, until next Monday. Now, for those people who are watching it, who are going online, yeah, they're seeing current information. But when folks like the library come up and want to say, hey, by the way, we have a program, if we stay with what we're doing, the best case scenario seems to be we lose 2 weekends. So you have to think out 2 weekends. So what I'm asking the town board to do is a couple of things. Rethink maybe going live. The other thing may be getting a hold of them. The other thing may be considering moving your meeting to Monday night, and maybe they can then get it on television the following Monday, so you only lose 1 weekend. But as you can see, they're really not doing a good job at providing a service for this town. And so that's the reason why I wanted to bring it to your attention.
God bless you. I've been looking for 2 months. I can't find the meetings on TV.
It's
I
on.
don't know where they are.
I will tell, well.
I can't even find the channel.
Wait. Let me go back in the record. I'm going to go back into the town board record. I have all the records here in my head. And I will tell you that they made an agreement that it would be played on Mondays at 9 o'clock. So what I have done is I'm recording them, and then I'm going to look and see. And I don't even go by their bulletin board. In other words, their bulletin board says the July 10th town board meeting. I actually go onto the computer just to check to see if your clothes match, okay? Because at the start of the meeting, you don't say, today is X, and we're going to have a town board meeting. You just open the meeting. So what I'm suggesting to you is this is pretty accurate. If you doubt it, I still have them on my DVR at home. You're welcome to come. I will provide coffee and a muffin or something. But I think something needs to be done. So that's why I wanted to look at it over a period of time, and maybe there's something positive that you can do. It seems that when Comcast left Carmel, they left Carmel.
All right, I will get a letter out to Comcast this week.
Thank you.
And for the record, the last time Mr. Major offered coffee and donuts, Charlie did show up.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Thank you very much.
And I'll be back.
Sounds like a great offer. Pat Ploger, 5 Lakeshore Drive.
Hi, Pat.
Nice to see you all again.
You too.
This past Thursday, untelevised but on public record, the Putnam Lake Park District had its September public meeting, and we had a great turnout, actually way more than what we have right here at the town board meeting, I'm sorry to say. About an hour's worth of the time was devoted to the lake. What's going on with the lake, compliments about how well it's done this year, that kayakers and fishermen are actually seeing some depth in there. So whether it's Mother Nature or Pond and Lake Connection doing their treatments 3 times instead of twice, it seems to have positive results, so we're pretty happy about that. However, we discussed all of the long-term issues. And there were some new people there, people who had been in the lake just a couple of years or just a year, people we'd never seen, we know in the community, but had never been to a meeting. So it was really a very interesting and informative sort of talk. But one of the issues that came up, because we're talking about not just treating what's in the lake, dredging or alum or whatever, but we were talking about prevention, and somebody raised the question, well, what about septic systems? And I said, oh yes, I have fallen behind, because about 9 months ago I said to you, Rich, I'm going to come to you one of these days and ask the town board where we are with the MS4 mandate. Did it come out of MS4? That we along with all the other towns and municipalities in the Croton Reservoir watershed, you're nodding yes, so I got my facts right, we're obligated between 2012 and 2017 to have had at least one inspection of their systems, their septic systems, with a written report to be given to the town, to the Putnam County Department of Health, and one for the homeowner. I was here in 2016 waving I remember saying, look at this gold, this is what we should all have in our files somewhere, because it proves that we were checked out during that period. And then I asked, I'm in compliance. I'm hoping that everybody else is in compliance. So that was my question to you about 9 months ago, Rich. And I know there was a snafu with the database between the county and us.
Well, it wasn't so much the county. We had an individual work on the database who actually corrupted the database.
Oh, not intentionally, I hope.
No.
No, okay.
No, I'm sure it was just
Okay.
accidental.
All right.
But we have been rebuilding, putting all the slips back in. We have some 600 60 people who have submitted their forms. And
Okay.
we're currently rebuilding that database. You know, for the most part, we're missing this season because we're rebuilding that database.
Okay, all right. So here's my question. The bottom line is, what percentage of septic systems, and this includes commercial, this building, for example, the rec center, stores, library, as well as homes in Patterson, have or are in compliance?
An educated guess town-wide, I can't give you Putnam Lake, but an
Okay,
educated
town-wide.
guess town-wide is probably between 35 and 40%.
That is extremely distressing, because if there's then 65% of the 1,350 homes in Putnam Lake that drain
Well,
into...
I did that town-wide because
Yeah.
I know how many
Well,
receipts we do have.
I don't imagine we're any different in our part of town than, you know, the folks over here. I would hope, you know, we're the same ratio. So you're saying that the vast majority have folks in the town of Patterson, including Putnam Lake, have not had their septic systems pumped within that period?
Correct.
Okay, so what is the town doing about that to the people who are, that they know are not in
Again,
compliance?
Once we get this database put back together and everything put back into it, then the intent is to start sending letters out.
Okay, this is further distressing because, I mean, it was 9 months ago we talked about this corrupted database.
True.
I mean, we could have had...
I've had 2 DEC audits. I've still got the state controller in town hall doing a full audit on the town. I've had the Department of Labor in here. It's been a slightly busy year.
Well, I don't expect that you would be doing it personally, Rich.
No,
But
I'm involved in it.
of course you are.
And so is
I
the
also
rest.
volunteered my services. There are also summer interns. I mean, there are all kinds of people who could be doing this. So we're there, and Putnam Lake in particular, not only are we part of the New York City water system, we're in the watershed, but we've got this problem with the lake, and it's exacerbated. The DEC does, or the state of New York does not want to give us any money towards treatment of the lake until we remediate our septic problem with either a sewer system or something. We don't even know.
Well, that's not exactly correct. They are telling us they don't want to give us money to fund certain items till we have a watershed management plan. That's a slightly different issue.
Okay, all right. Because we understood, and this was something that was mentioned at the meeting,
Yeah.
that they are going towards Peach Lake, for example. They're doing alum treatments in Peach Lake because they already have a sewer system in place. And Peach Lake was not one of the HAB's 12 lakes.
Correct.
So
They picked lakes that were outside the HAB, not just Peach Lake, but they picked other lakes to do their study on.
right, they did our lake. They've done 2 studies, one last year and one this year for microinvertebrates for the alum treatment. So
Our lake?
yes,
No, they did the microinvertebrates for checking the copper sulfate levels.
okay.
That was my understanding.
All right, I understood last year when they did it, it was for possible alum treatment, but I could be wrong. I sometimes get these scientific things wrong. Anyhow, I just want to go on record as being personally distressed that this does not take priority in this town. Forget the city of New York. Sorry, city of New York, but I just want to see that in our lake community, some effort is being made to go out there and make sure people who are living right on top of one another in teeny-weeny little lots sometimes, that their septic systems are not going to their neighbors' yards and are not flowing into the lake that we have to swim in and fish in and boat in. So thank you.
So let me try to relieve some of your stress.
Yes.
And this is the argument I presented to the DEC and to their panel of experts, including the USGS, who, it was interesting when I did it because there was some jaw dropping for sure, but in 2000, the USGS conducted a study on a number of different sewered and unsewered watersheds.
And USGS is Geological Survey? US
Correct.
Geological Survey, okay.
U.S. Geological
See, I
Survey.
do know some science stuff.
Right.
Okay.
And they put test wells that are still in existence around Putnam Lake. And they took water samples. So what they found in the water sampling for Putnam Lake is that phosphorus is not getting into the lake from the surrounding watershed through the underground water flow.
At least in 2000, I mean, 19 years ago it wasn't. Right.
Many years ago.
They haven't tested it since.
No, they haven't tested it since, but back then, they found that the soils in Putnam Lake were very good at locking up phosphorus and were actually retaining the phosphorus from the septic systems. Not so much with the nitrates. Nitrates is another issue, but nitrates is not the issue with Putnam Lake. Phosphorus is the issue with Putnam Lake. And so, you know, I brought that up to this grand panel that was associated with the HAB studies, and they didn't have an answer for me. And I asked them while they were doing the HAB study to replicate that study now to see if indeed there was any phosphorus getting in from the surrounding watershed through groundwater sources. And we all know how the HAB study turned out. But back in 2000, when they did the study, phosphorus was not getting in from the septic systems. It was getting in from overland sources. It was getting in where the big problem with Putnam Lake is, from legacy phosphorus that's already sitting in the lake. And the DEC acknowledged that in their study. So, and that's really what we need to, talk about. Now, I will also impart this to both you and Laura, because I see Laura sitting. I've been pursuing trying to get aeration into the lake. I've looked at Lake Peekskill where they have aeration. The water clarity was phenomenal. Everybody that I've talked to around the lake down there and the supervisor down there has said what a phenomenal job it's done in Putnam Lake. They do not only aeration, but they do a treatment to reduce the bottom sediment. They
That's an enzyme treatment, I believe.
yeah. And he will be in here this week. He's coming back from Europe. He's not exactly sure when, because I've been badgering him because I need a proposal that we can start having an honest conversation about, whether it's appropriate for Putnam Lake or whether it's not. When I get something, I'm going to share it with everybody, of course. And hopefully he's going to be giving me that proposal this week.
Okay.
So that's the path I've been actually pursuing, is especially, the enzyme treatments, because if we ever do go to dredge the lake, and I think at some point we're going to have to go down that road and dredge that lake, that if we can get rid of, all the bottom muck that's in there, that's something we're not going to have to pay to dredge. So that would be a real positive for the lake.
Okay. So my takeaway then, and something I should share with the Putnam Lake community, is the septic systems have no impact on the lake?
I'm saying we're not sure, but in the past they have not.
Okay. Because of the phosphorus?
That does not mean we're not going to pursue finishing up correcting this database. And, I plan on the spring, hopefully, to start sending, not me personally, but code enforcement, to have code enforcement start sending letters out to all the residents saying, you're required to pump your system.
Yeah. And, okay. Thank you.
I'd like to just speak briefly to this. The problem I have is that the county regulates septics, okay? If I want a septic, I have to go to the county, I have to fill out a permit, I have to comply. They're the ones who come out and do the field test. They're the ones who come out when the septic's being installed. They're the ones who are eventually going to give me a certificate that says it's okay to flush, okay? I have a problem with the town doing this database because it's the county's responsibility to be knowing the status of all the septics in the county. By them doing it, then each town can share in that information. And I'll give you one other example. And I'm not going to name the company. I will tell you that there is at least one company that sends the white, I forget what color copy the county gets. They send that copy to the county. They don't send it to the town. They give it to the resident, all the remaining copies. Why do they send it to the county? Who licensed them? Not the town, the county. So I wish you'd maybe speak to the health department and say, this is really your responsibility. You should be providing us a list of everyone who has had their septic cleaned, because your list may show that there are 850 people who haven't done their septics. They may have 200 of them over there that were already done. So all I'm saying is, I know we like to do everything in-house, but logically, it makes sense that the county should be maintaining a list of all the septics in the county. Now, if you do a database, and Kent does a database, and Coleman does a database, who's going to put them together? Wouldn't it be a lot smarter if the county had done this database and then provided a download to all of you folks so that you could upload your information so there can be checks and balances? There may be a time where Bruce Major walks in with his copy for the town, and the vendor who did my septic doesn't bother sending it in. Okay? So what I'm saying is, by the town doing their job, we may not be getting the whole picture. And I would hope that maybe you would look to the county to say, it's time for them to step up and do part of their job as well. Thank you.
Well, that was well put, because they did do part of their job. So the county does maintain a database.
Okay.
We started with the county's database. We checked it and found that there were multiple slips not entered into the database.
By who? By them?
By them. So, and that's where we were, where we started entering all the missing slips. But then you have to go through slip by slip, one slip at a time, with all the information, and enter it into the database.
So what you're telling me is, we have to do more because they're not doing a good job over there. You don't have to answer that.
Yeah, your word's not mine.
Thank you.
Thank God Sean's up. Anyone else? Going once? Gonna get a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.